Welcome back. We are still here with my friend, Mareya Ibrahim, and we are talking about Eat Like You Give a Fork. This is a book that my husband and I both endorse. In fact, he endorsed the back of it.
So great.
And we're going to be doing a book giveaway. So make sure that you write into brainwarriorswaypodcast.com if you want this book. We're going to do a drawing. We're going to give this away. Also, make sure you tag us, because what I want you to do is think about this. In this episode, we are going to talk about why people don't change, okay, and what you can do if that's you or someone you love. And we want to hear what your biggest breakthrough is. Please tag us. You can tag. Where can they find you?
At Eat Cleaner.
Eat Cleaner.
Eat Cleaner on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, and you can find me at Tana Amen on Instagram, or you can tag. You can write into our podcast. So Brain Warriors Way podcast. So we want to hear from you, and we want to hear who you know that has this problem, and if you are one of these people, how did you change, if you changed, or what you're struggling with. Just let us know.
Yeah.
So we left off the last episode with your mother who didn't change, and I have the same thing. My grandmother did not change. She's one of the reasons I became so inspired to do what I do.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that I was saving myself. My family was very sick, right? I have obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer. It was just all in my family.
Yeah.
And I got cancer.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge wake-up call to me, but I never could figure out why my grandmother, who was 4'11" and weighed almost 200 pounds, and she was beautiful when she was young. I mean, stunning when she was young. Tiny little waist, gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then just gave up.
Yeah.
But it's easy to say she gave up. When I really looked into her history, that woman could not turn the news on without breaking every single day, breaking down and crying. Okay, and she had gone through a war, and my uncle was murdered.
Oh, wow.
So her son had been murdered,
Wow.
and so after that, she gave up. Now that's one of the reasons we do what we do, right? We want to know what's going on with you. Do you have PTSD? Have you had a head injury? That's what we do.
Yeah.
So tell me about your mother and what happened.
Boy, I just got chills.
Because sometimes it's not as simple as it sounds.
It really isn't. And you bring up a few very important things. I mean, my parents were immigrants. They came to the United States with nothing, not knowing anybody.
My family too.
And having no money. My mom had a stillborn before me, so she carried a baby to term. And he died in the delivery room, which I can never wrap my head around how she got over that. And then, I think leaving her family in general, and she was a pharmacist, and she got her pharmacy degree in Egypt, again in New York, again in Colorado.
Wow.
So
she's smart.
She's a smart woman, and she's very dedicated to that, but a lot of pressure. And I think probably didn't know how to deal with all of that and didn't have an outlet for that. And I remember, most days growing up, it was just, they were busy. So it would be food was just sort of like a free-for-all. And then on the weekends, we would eat really healthy. And then we'd go back to Egypt and we would see how our family actually ate, and it was very, very different. So, all of these things, and I think you bring up such an important point, you've got to want it, and you've got to make your brain then take charge, because it's a decision. It's a decision. And
if you're not doing that, my challenge to you is ask yourself why. So when we start Brain Warriors Way, I told you I think we were a perfect match, right? I wrote the Brain Warriors Way with my husband.
Yeah.
We start with this concept of mastery. So it's mindset is the M in mastery. A is the assessment, right? So mindset and assessment, you have to ask yourself why. Why is it that you want to do this? Why is it a must, not a should?
Yes.
Right? It's got to be a must, not a should.
Yeah.
But if you're not able to do that, or you're I want to do it, but I can't, then you, again, need to ask why. That's the assessment part, okay? So we need to know what's going on. Is it biological? Is it because you've had a head injury? Is it because, your vitamin D is low? Is it because your hormones are off? What is it?
Yeah.
Is it psychological? Is it because you have PTSD? Is it because you are not blending into, you're an immigrant and you are not blending into society, and the stresses are just way too high? Is it because of whatever reason? We've got to get that assessed and treated.
100%. In my health coaching, always the first meeting would be what is your motivation? What is your reason why? What's your why? And I will tell you that 8 times out of 10, it would be just people expressing from their heart how difficult of a time they were having.
Right.
So not even like focusing on like why they want to do things, but like the hardships that they've had. And your heart goes out to them because you realize like everybody is in their space. But if we really try and turn it around to like, what is motivating you? And I even talk about it in the book and I say, what's your BHAG? What's
Right.
your big audacious goal?
Yeah,
like
hairy goal.
Your goal, you're amazing. Your goal is like probably more advanced than other people's goals, and other people might want to do tremendous things. Like
Right.
everybody's goal
Everyone's
is their
different.
own amazing audacious
For
goal.
some people, it's just, I want to
know?
survive to see my child graduate college. Okay. That's okay.
Or I want to fit in the jeans that I couldn't wear, because I had a baby. Like everybody has their goal, and it's okay to honor that goal. If you want to fit in your jeans and that's your goal, that's your goal.
Just make sure that goal, in my mind, is going to last past the event you're going to, right? We don't want to do it short term and then gain weight, and then short term and then gain weight.
Absolutely.
Make it a permanent.
It's going to be a step in the ladder.
Right.
And I think, let's maybe focus on what your goal is so that you feel like this is something, for many people, it's like you said, you want to be around for your daughter. You want to
Right.
be around for your husband. You want to be around. I'm a single mom. I have
Absolutely.
to take care of my two
It's like,
kids,
it's just a,
Yeah.
you need to do
It's
that.
required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when people tell me, well, I want to fit in my jeans, I'll keep digging. It's like, why? Why is it important to you? And then keep digging. It's like, why is that important? Like,
Yeah.
we'll finally get down to what it really is. And then that will often help them. Because I've had people come in and they're like, well, I need to fit in a bathing suit by the time I go on vacation. Why?
Or they
Why
tell
is
you
that
they
important?
need to lose a certain number of pounds.
Right, why?
I always question that. Like, why the pounds? Like,
Right.
why are you focused on the pounds?
Because behind that is
Yeah.
the real reason.
Yes.
And if I can get them to focus on the real reason, it won't just be for the vacation, right? It will turn into
Exactly.
something they realize they need to do.
Yeah, or there's this perception that they need to be a certain way when in fact you ask them why that number and they kind of pull it out of nowhere.
It's
And then
because they've read it in a magazine.
they've read it in a magazine. So I think it's healthy to have these discussions, and it's really, the Brain Warriors way as the beginning of like figuring things out. And then when you get your brain in order, and that's why I love the Daniel plan so
Yeah,
much.
me too.
It's not about
it's
one
5 pillars,
thing.
no.
It's the 5 pillars, and you need those 5 pillars to really have not just health and longevity in your food life, but in your personal life,
Yeah.
in your spiritual life, in every aspect of what you do.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's such an important thing. So I just think that was really important to touch on why people don't change when they know they're sick, when they know this is important, when they know it's life and death sometimes. My grandmother ended up dying of the effects of diabetes. She died of the heart disease. She had neuropathy in her limbs, and she had heart disease, and she ended up dying of that. She was legally blind. And it just broke my heart. Now, oddly, that is what inspired me to be different, right? So I
Yeah.
became a nurse, and I decided I love my family and I don't want to be anything like them.
Yeah.
Because I saw myself starting to head down that path because I didn't know better when I was little.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I saw it in my family too. On my mom's side of the family, many of them have heart disease, and I see it's the same lifestyle choices. It's
Yeah.
the same poor food choices, even though they have plentiful food. It is lack of activity. It's a mindset. It's those 3 things. And, I didn't want to be that way either. And I saw that they were very sedentary, and that made me want to be active. And I just can't imagine life not being that way because it makes me feel so good.
You're vibrant.
I feel like this is how you age well.
Right.
Right? Both physically in your body and emotionally.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like when you get a taste of that, that's when it's kind of like, oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I want
and-
to do more of that.
And
you
I love
know?
that. And it's, things do change. Like, I'm 50 now. And I always
too.
said, are you really? Oh
Yeah.
my God, you look so amazing.
You look amazing. Oh my gosh,
I'm like,
look at you.
you gotta be kidding
Are
me.
you kidding?
So when I remember I was in probably like my best shape when I was in my mid 40s, like up
Yeah.
until I was like 47. And I remember saying I had a lot of muscle mass. And I'm like, I'm going to be healthier at 50 than I am now at 47. And that was a goal for me. Excuse me. So I've worked towards that goal. Now, things happen, right? I ended up having surgery last year, and that shifted my hormones. And at first, it really threw me for a loop emotionally. I'm like, whoa, like I don't look the same as I did at 47. It made me really kind of like frustrated. And I'm like, I don't have the same muscle mass I had. I'm getting skinnier. I don't like being like that sort of like frail, skinny look. I
Yeah.
want to be muscular.
Yeah.
And so it
Healthy.
frustrated me. But then I had to do that same work that I do with my people on myself, that I do with people I coach. I did the same work on myself and I went, what is your goal? Is the goal to be a certain body fat and muscle mass, or is
Yeah.
the goal to be vibrant and healthy?
Yeah.
Because you are going to age, right?
Yes.
You are going to
Yes,
change.
we are
So,
gonna
but my
age.
life is amazing. It's vibrant. It's like, okay, I have to take what I have now
Yeah.
and maximize it. It's always about optimizing what you
Yes.
have,
Yes.
being vibrant, being healthy, being full of life for the people you love.
Yeah, and I
right?
think it's being flexible. It's
Flexible.
being able to shift with the times. Like, I think getting this ideal, whatever it is that the media might be
get stuck.
prescribing, out of your mind
Yeah.
and living your own truth. Because you and I mean, I don't know about you. I know you're in amazing shape, but you're probably in karate and you're like, shoot, I can hang with the 20-year-olds.
Which blows my mind
You know what I'm
sometimes.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, that is a great feeling.
It is.
So what if you're not 20? Who cares?
See, I
You
don't,
still
and
are-
that
you know
number,
what I'm
that
saying?
number doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
What I had to do the work on, I actually feel better because I love my life now.
Yeah.
What I had to do the work on was, as my body does physically change, I had to learn how to honor what was going on. I am 50. I had a hysterectomy. I have had a neck injury, right? I want to be vibrant and healthy when I'm 80. So rather than pushing like I did when I was young, it's like, no, you're going to do this anyways.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm going to actually be smart about this.
Yes.
I'm going to love my body the way it is. I'm going to take care of it for what it is now.
Yes.
And I'm going to accept the fact that, yeah, it's changing a little bit.
And that's a healthy place to be. And what I'm really encouraging people not to do is compare.
Exactly.
You know, I think the comparison
so
is
unhealthy.
where we go down a place that is really ugly.
Right.
And if you are in your own truth and you feel vibrant and healthy, you're going to be satisfied in your own
Exactly.
skin
I
without
love that.
comparison.
And this thing, okay, I have people post for me. No, I have people post for me. I do not like social media. I will not look. I don't scroll. I don't look. I hate it. It is the devil. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because, and even my daughter has finally
can
come to
be.
that. My daughter, because it's just, there are so many great things on there, but even the great things, you start going, well, I'm not like that. Guess what? They aren't either.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
it's everybody's highlight reel.
It
right,
is
of
right.
their
It's the
life.
you have to
It's
know
their
it's the highlight reel.
And so I think being surrounded, you know, and I really, this has been sort of, this doesn't necessarily have to do with food, but just part of the aging process is I've had to really edit like what I surround myself
Yes.
with, you know?
Because people are contagious and you want to be able to like be around people who inspire you, be around
Yes.
people who you know are real, but don't compare yourself.
Correct. And
Right?
and that might be a smaller group of people. It might be different objectives. Like, you know,
Yeah, I refuse to
I don't
hang
want to
out-
go out on a Friday night and get
No.
hammered. Like, that's not who
No.
I am. I'd rather be like doing a yoga class and then maybe having people over for dinner.
Well, and I just
like,
don't do the whole OC housewife thing. Like I'd rather go hang out at
What's that?
karate, right? The Orange County Housewives of Orange County.
like, what is that?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't go to the country club. I go
Yeah.
to the karate. I do the things that I know are going to make me feel empowered.
Yes, and finding your truth, you know, I mean, I think this is like such a beautiful thing for every age. I look at my daughter who's about to turn 18, and something that I'm really proud of her is that she is not a carbon copy of the people that are
My
around
daughter
her.
also.
You know,
I
she
love it.
likes to serve and she is active and she likes to eat well and she removes herself from drama.
My
I think
daughter
it's
too.
it's something we can all do that rounds out your whole health.
And
right?
that probably says a lot about you. That reminds me of my daughter. She came home when she was just started 8th grade. She goes, Mom, I'm not going to know these people in 10 years. I can't. It's so distracting being at school because just what's going on with the drugs and the sex and the problems at school. She goes,
she's so beyond her
oh my
years.
gosh. She's like, can I homeschool? I'm like, excuse me, say that again.
Yeah.
And it's just been a magnificent thing. And she now volunteers, she volunteers like 15 hours a week.
That is so cool.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
She's a lovely
It's pretty
human
cool.
being.
Yeah.
Love
So
her.
yeah, I love it. So I would love to meet your daughter and
We
see.
have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fun.
but I think, we are the role models of our kids and people around us, and just like you saw with your grandma, just like I saw with my mother, like how we show up, and how the habits that we have and all of the ways that we choose to live our lives, our priorities are a mirror. We reflect on everybody. And, I think especially important when you have children or people that are looking up to you to truly live that way. It's not an act. It's not like I'm this way on camera and then I'm this way at home.
Right.
Like, level up, I think, with yourself and know what your priorities are and base your decisions on that. And food works into that,
I love it, yeah.
I mean, and food doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, one part of the book that I talk about is like simple convertible meals,
I like that.
where you have like maybe you boil some eggs and you have them in your refrigerator, or you grill, some proteins. You have your produce that you wash. We make a great wash for cleaning produce that extends shelf
I've heard
life.
your wash is fantastic. So
And I should have brought you some. I will
Yeah.
bring you some. It removes residues, pesticide residues, and it helps your produce last up to 5 times longer. So you can get all your produce prepped in advance. And then your food is a salad bar. Your refrigerator is like, you've got that, you've got some black rice
I like that.
you've cooked.
Your refrigerator is a salad bar.
Yeah,
That's
and then
great.
it's mixing and matching. So it's not like you have to cook and reinvent the wheel every single time. And a lot of the recipes in here are based on that approach, is getting your refrigerator in order so you can mix and match.
So eat like you give a fork. We're going to do the giveaway. So make sure you reach out, brainwarriorswaypodcast.com. Tag us. You can tag Mareya at
Eat Cleaner.
Eat Cleaner. And you can tag me at Tana Amen. And I want you to answer that question we first asked you. So are you struggling, or have you had a breakthrough? Tell us what you've done or what you need. If you're not changing and you know you need to, why? We're going to come back. We've got one more episode together, and I want to talk more about your solutions for fast food, like food on the go and snacks.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
All right.
great
Stay with
subject.
us. If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're interested in coming to Amen Clinics, use the code PODCAST10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.